In a blind taste test, do you think you can really tell the difference between good old-fashioned Spam versus some vegan meat in a can? Today, let's find out. Hi, I'm Sydney. Welcome back to my Flock and Squawk. In today's video, I am going to be preparing a meat and an unmeat alternative. So first off, we have the Spam versus the unmeat. Plant-based luncheon meat classic versus a can of Spam. Now this is totally normal, classic Spam, just the 25% less sodium, just because it is quite a salty product. So the unmeat is basically a soy alternative to the classic Spam. Spam being sizzle, pork, and if you are to believe the slogan, but it is in fact, it is pork, ham, chicken, potato starch, sugar, whatever, and it is in a nice little loaf. I'm assuming that this is also going to be in a loaf based on just the packaging. It looks like it'll be exactly comparable in texture visually to Spam based on this image. I have not done any research on this brand at all. I literally just saw this in the grocery store and decided to try it out. So this I'm going to be doing, cutting and frying both of them in a pan and putting them on a biscuit that I baked earlier. And then we also have their chicken meat alternative, and then I got a can of chicken. So we all know and love a good canned chicken around here. And this unmeat is essentially recreating that, but again with a soy protein, I believe. Soy and wheat protein. So we are going to give this a try, and let's just get into it. I'm going to prepare these hopefully identically, and yeah, I'm going to taste test it as well, but we're really here to see what Connor thinks of both in a blind taste test, let's be honest. Let's prepare these up.
I started by draining both the chicken and the unmeat. Here I'm only showing the unmeat in its preparation, but both the chicken and the unmeat I gave the same treatment. I just sort of squished it around. The chicken shredded, whereas the unmeat did not really shred that well just because of how it is structured. It stayed pretty intact in its lumps. Then I added in some mayo, some mustard, and some cracked pepper. I didn't really show all of that here just because I wanted to make sure this was brief, but I didn't measure anything. I just sort of went to the visual cues and a rough feeling of what seemed appropriate for both of them. Here you can see both the chicken and the unmeat side by side, the clear differences in their visual looks, but also they had the exact same preparation. The true last step was that I put it on some bread just so it could be a sandwich.
So I have the faux chicken sandwiches prepared. Well, one is a real chicken sandwich. And now it's time to make up the unmeat. So like I said, I have some biscuits, or did I say it? But I have biscuits. I have 2 of them, and I slice them in half over there. And I'm going to essentially cook these the exact same way. Open can, slice, fry, and then I have some eggs and spinach next to me. So I think I might do a little bit of egg spinach, like a little scramble, to put it on the biscuit as well. And I should also grab out some cheese. But basically that is how I am going to prepare these ones, and I'm going to have it on 2 separate plates. Hopefully they look similar enough, at least in the picture on this one. Gives me more hope that they will look alike compared to the other one. If they don't really look alike, hopefully the egg will distract. But let's just get to this, and I'm going to open and cut the unmeat first. So let's just get straight to preparing.
The hardest part, honestly, about the unmeat and the Spam is that they're both a little difficult to get out of the can. The unmeat I felt like was even harder to get out of the can, even with puncturing a hole in the bottom, which is the go-to move for Spam, so I've been told. But both of them ended up coming and cutting nicely. They had a similar consistency in terms of, I don't know, the internal marbling of said unmeat. The unmeat was definitely a lot drier coming out of the can, and also with the frying process. Spam released a lot of fat, whereas the unmeat didn't really have that to release, so I'm glad that I did spray the pan. And then you can see here, they both sort of retained their original coloring. Spam I could have fried way longer. The unmeat was kind of getting a little bit burnt. I don't know if that's just because of the heat that I was cooking at or what, but I feel like it's a lot easier or like less cook time overall.
So now I have my two of the Spam versus Unmeat ham concoction thing. I have both of them on a biscuit with some cheese, the faux meat and Spam, a little bit of spinach, and some egg that I just lightly scrambled. I used pepper and the seasoning for everything from Trader Joe's, and then retopped it with the other half of the biscuit. So let's call Connor in and give these a taste test. Let me know in the comments down below which you think we will prefer, and your thoughts on Unmeat, whether it's this one or in general. Just let me know your thoughts down below. So let's taste test. All right, Connor. So I have, first off, we are going to go with the chicken salad sandwich.
Okay.
I kept it very basic of just mayo, a little mustard, and pepper, because I am under the assumption, at least I know with canned chicken, that it tends to be on the saltier side.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them were packed in water, so it was a little bit runnier, and I had to drain off liquid for both of them.
Okie dokie.
And I've done small sandwiches because we have the other one to try.
Good idea.
Which, it's behind the camera, but Connor can kind of see what's coming up next.
Yeah.
And this one I have gently draped, because I think that this one might be easier on the visual to tell. So just...
Do you want me to like not look at it? I'll go like this.
Yeah, should we like gently...
I'll just close my eyes.
If you can't, your glasses.
Actually, yeah, if you take my glasses away, all of a sudden
Connor does have a fairly strong prescription, so maybe that will be enough.
I legit can't see texture details.
Yeah, the overall coloring is not going to give it away, because this is just like the most bland looking sandwich.
Anything past this begins to be blurry, so...
Okay, so
No
we have it here. We have it here, and I've already shown the camera. So let's just go with whichever side you want.
I'll just go, this one's in front of me.
Okay, Connor is going with subject A. I'm just gonna have a little taste test.
I think I know.
I would hope.
Mm-hmm. Going for B.
These might be the most beige sandwiches I've ever made, by the way. We didn't have all the ingredients that I normally do for like a chicken salad sandwich, so I just took it as basic as possible, just to give them kind of equal footing.
So A is the Unmeat.
Yes, it is in fact the Unmeat. What really stood out to you about it?
The texture. Immediately. It was very spongy. This one, I mean, like, it's not bad. I'd eat it, like, if I was trying to avoid meat. But it was, like, immediately chomping into that.
Yes.
It looks all right, seeing it.
Yeah.
Oh, you could see the spongy
Here.
cells.
Yeah, and when you see this video, because Connor does watch the videos, you will see when I open the can that it's like little lumps. And I didn't put all of what was in the can on each of these half sandwiches. So I'll go grab the bowls so you can see the comparative difference.
It feels like I'm eating a kneaded eraser.
It looks like you're eating a kneaded eraser. So I just had stuck the bowls into the fridge. Here is the Unmeat, here is the chicken.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
And I'll just... With chicken, even if it's in lumps, you can kind of pull it apart. This, like, really gotta, like, work at it to kind of squish. Which I could have worked at it way longer to kind of try and mimic the chicken texture more. But I don't really think that it's meant for that kind of roughhousing. It definitely has some structural stability to be used in a sandwich, in a salad. But it doesn't quite mimic chicken on taste or texture. But I feel like it is a reasonable substitute as a whole. Like, it gets the job done. You know, it's a carrier for other ingredients.
It has a strange savory flavor. It's not
Which-
bad, but it's wholly unique.
And I was vegetarian for quite a few years, and I would much have preferred this be an option as opposed to jackfruit. Jackfruit used to be like the go-to meatless option. I hate jackfruit. Jackfruit, to me, has a more chicken texture than this, but the flavor of jackfruit is impossible to get over for me. This has a more mild flavor.
If I didn't try to think of this as chicken, I just thought, oh, this is some vegetarian thing. You told me, what do you think about it? I'd be like, oh, that's not bad. If you trying to be chicken makes it bad. If you're just saying this is some soy product thing, it's totally fine. Like, actually, it tastes pretty good. Like, getting chicken out of my mind is good, actually.
Yeah, and one thing that is not only about this chicken product, but also the Spam alternative, the cans are slightly deceptive, because this one can of chicken was a single serving. This one was 3.5 servings, and when I opened it, most of the can was water.
So this is really calorie dense.
This is highly calorie dense, and it usually when you see a can of chicken, you know, or a can of tuna. But the fact that this is 3.5 servings is kind of ridiculous. It is a very small serving size. So,
What's the shelf life on it?
I didn't look, but I have the can stashed away. But
Let's
it also was
insert it here.
it was also half the price of the canned chicken, which after getting, catching a glimpse of the packaging, seeing that there was a Spam alternative, and seeing the fact that this was half the price of canned chicken, it's like, this definitely has appeal because it's kind of a stereotype that vegetarianism, veganism comes with a cost, which it does in some regards, especially if you're trying to do meat alternatives or like a substitution replacement. If you're not doing that, then it's quite a bit cheaper in terms of what people associate with it. All food has a cost, but the fact that this was half the price is quite wild.
I'm just looking at the texture on here. Pardon
The
if I was like, I cleaned the sauce off it real quick. It almost looks like it's like a shoot. I think it's soy product though, right?
It is soy and wheat protein.
It almost has the texture of
You're like unraveling it.
yeah, it almost has the texture of tripas, like a menudo and all that stuff. It even looks like it. That's what's funny. I wonder if, because I'm not a big fan of menudo because of the texture, and I'd be curious how that
Compares to menudo.
like use that as a substitute menudo. It'd be interesting because the texture is actually it's not as offensive. I don't know. I think also because just something about it being stomach, but it's not as rubbery as menudo. So it still has it's alluding to that. That's the closest thing that is to me, like of actual meat substitutes.
Yeah, I feel like if we weren't bouncing back and forth, I'd have no problem with the meat substitute. But going back and forth, there's way more flavor inherently in chicken than, for me, in my experience, any meat substitute. So I feel like you'd have to put more effort into the meat substitute to get more flavor or make it slightly more palatable than you do with chicken or beef, the traditional meats.
Like I said, I'm enjoying this. I'd be interested to see what the shelf life is because it is a shelf-stable, high-calorie food, so pretty good for like camping and all that.
Yeah. So overall, what would you give the Unmeat out of 10?
As a chicken substitute, like a 2.
As a general.
As a food, a canned, ready-to-eat food, like maybe a 7.5. It's really, I actually kind of like it. I mean, it's not the best ever, but it's pretty good. I would totally eat that again.
Yeah, I feel like the marketing on the can is the slightly deceptive part, but for price, for like you said, calorie ratios. I feel like it's not bad, and just comparing them side by side is not necessarily giving it the best chance because you're getting both options.
Yeah.
I feel like if I had it on its own, I wouldn't have any issues, but having it with a different flavor profile of like this is trying to be this, like you said, it doesn't really work too well.
What really gets me, I would almost give it like even higher than that, because when it comes to hiking and stuff, like backpacking, you want calorie dense, and it's like that was actually a smaller can than a can of tuna. It was slightly smaller, wasn't it?
Not smaller than a can of tuna.
It was just the same size.
The can of chicken actually was smaller.
Slightly smaller, okay.
The can of the Unmeat was taller and larger than a tuna can.
Okay, so I know one of them was smaller than the other and normal.
The chicken was smaller.
It was like, but the calories per serving were about the same, but there were like 3.5 calories of that for one.
So it was 3.5 servings at, I believe, 60 calories, and this was 45 calories for the whole can.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, for the size of a tuna can, for how many calories are in that, that's pretty wild for hiking and stuff.
Yes.
So that's what I'm just like, I'm surprised how good that actually is.
Yeah, and I think we're both under the agreement that as long as it's not a side-by-side, it's a perfectly reasonable substitute.
Yeah, don't go and tell people this is chicken. It's not.
But if you're hosting a like sandwich bar or something and having friends over who maybe don't eat meat or have issues like with certain foods and whatnot, this could be an option. As long as they're okay with soy and wheat, because... I don't know. Allergies. But if they just have a distaste for chicken or vegan vegetarianism, is their jam. Yeah. Not bad.
All right. So
I'll
take my glasses off again.
So I think that these are going to be more similar in texture to each other, just based off of appearance. And so here is option A.
And I had that idea that this would be a better one just because of the fact that it's
So it's a biscuit with cheese, the Unmeat or Spam, and spinach egg.
Okay. And I've eaten a lot of Spam in my lifetime, so...
This is only going to be like the third time that I've eaten Spam.
That's the Unmeat, I'd imagine. It's way not salty. And it's actually really good.
Here is option B. I also did get the low sodium Spam.
That's got to be Spam. Because it still has, even though low sodium, is still salty. And this tastes like pork. If I have that wrong, I'd be wild. But
no, you have it right.
Okay. Let me put my glasses back
put on your glasses. And you're right. This is actually quite good. The Unmeat is only like 60 cents cheaper at our local grocery store. But it's quite good. I like how it has still the same flavor as sort of a more porky. It's not like the chicken alternative didn't really have chicken flavor in it. I didn't season specifically the pork because I know, or the Unmeat Spam alternative.
I'd almost reckon this is better than Spam.
Yeah, the Spam definitely is saltier. But both have a nice, rich, slightly smoky flavor.
This is a good texture, too.
It is, and plopping it out of the can, I'll actually get out the cutting board that has the rest of it. The color is different, but the general gradation and like variation in the Spam versus the meat, very similar. I'll grab it.
Take another bite of the Spam.
I'm bringing out with the cans as well.
They definitely look different.
They look different, but the Spam, you can, it has like marbling, and this also has sort of faux marbling, or just not quite as uniform as you'd expect.
Here, go ahead and set those both on the plate for a second, because they're both ready to eat, technically.
I would assume so.
I know Spam is.
Just says recommended cooking instructions. It doesn't have a you should cook before.
Product of the Philippines.
Oh, I got it backwards. The can of chicken is 60 calories for the full can, and then it's 45 calories for the unmeat.
Per serving.
Per serving.
Yeah.
Which means more calories per can.
Yeah. So you're looking at, what is that, 90, 135, about 160 calories in that can.
Which you can get larger cans of chicken as well, but I just picked a small one.
Meat fried rice.
And then my biggest gripe on the packaging for this one is that it advertises 30 grams of protein.
Yeah, right there.
Right there. But it has it very small that it's per can and not per serving. It doesn't actually have that much difference in protein when it comes to serving. But the fact that it advertises itself as 30 grams of protein is kind of misleading until you actually take a look at the label. Whereas Spam, the only real claim to protein content is on the back, and it makes it very clear that it's per serving. So that's one thing to keep in note, is that when you're vegetarian or vegan, there is a little bit of more emphasis on making sure you hit certain nutritional goals, protein obviously being one of them, because it can be harder for some people to reach just even low goals of protein when you're focused in on being vegetarian. Because meat is a big protein source for most people. So, what do you think after eating them raw?
So, and Spam's always pretty, I've never been a fan of eating it raw out of the can. And my initial thought was, oh yeah, that's definitely greasy. The unmeat, although not greasy, out of the can, uncooked, it's like this weird film, and I would not recommend it. It does not taste good. The texture is not good. The taste is fine. It's pretty muted. Something about cooking it definitely brings out flavors from it. Whether it was pan fried you did?
I did pan fry, and I did do them in the same pan, but I kind of kept them segregated. Obviously, the Spam had a lot of grease that came out when it was cooking. This did not have anything come out, and I kind of cooked to this because it started to get a little bit of a slight burn on one edge. So it's I turned it off. The Spam was essentially done anyway. I could have taken it way longer on the Spam than I did just because of the unmeat.
Interesting, yeah, because I know Spam, you get so many different levels of where you can kind of make it just heated, and then you can take it down to crispy, almost like bacon. I definitely like this. This one, though, it's not as impressive, though, for the calorie count, because this is 6 servings per container. And then that has...
It's also 6 servings.
Also 6. And that has 50 calories more. So if you were looking at purely calorie density, Spam has more than this. Taste is good. What's the sodium like on these?
The sodium for this is 270 milligrams, which is 12%. And this has 25% of your daily, which is 570. So based on sodium, the unmeat is definitely a better option for those who are concerned about it.
It's about half, yeah. Yeah, I mean, all things considered, they both have a gram of added sugar, but the Spam, or the unmeat, has more sugar non-added. Or no, okay, sorry, no, I was looking at the fiber. So they're both about a gram. This one's less than a gram, that one's a gram.
And also, if you're interested in fiber content, Spam has none.
Yeah.
Whereas
This
this
is
has
4
some.
grams of dietary fiber. Oh, and less than 1 gram of sugar. Okay, so the total carbohydrates is 4 grams. 4 grams that is fiber, less than 1 gram of sugar. So there's a tiny amount of sugar. It's really not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, all around, it's still not a bad product.
I feel like the Unmeat Spam alternative is way closer to what it's trying to emulate than the faux chicken. So I would say that for me, I would prefer the Unmeat as opposed to the canned faux chicken, just because of the comparison. Even in like separate, I feel like just the fact that it is closer to what it is trying to be is a little more appealing to me. Neither of them are bad. And I do see like their purpose and enjoyment. And we will not let this go to waste.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just sort of like, what is your goal? Are you focused on being vegetarian or vegan, which the Unmeat's definitely hit? Or is it about a different goal like sodium, whereas the Unmeat having less sodium and being closer to the original might be a little bit better for your goals?
Yeah, it's the Spam, like going back to back again, then this. Spam's way saltier, even though it's the low sodium version.
Yes, it's definitely less salty than the full sodium, but it's still very salty.
It's still very salty. That's always been something about Spam where it's like you can only eat so much of it because of that. I could definitely eat more of the Unmeat. And I do like the flavor of the Unmeat. It's actually pretty tasty.
I do like it too. It has some of that slight smokiness.
Yeah, it's still like if you were a Spam fiend, you'd say this sucks. But if you were just saying, oh, I wanted a tinned beef or tinned meat, yeah, it's actually pretty good. So, I mean, obviously it's not actually tinned meat, but you get my point.
Yeah, it has the same feeling and everything.
Yeah.
One thing is that because it's less fatty in the can compared to the Spam, is it was harder to get out. The Spam had a little more lubrication to take it out, but I did puncture a hole in the bottom of both to get them.
Yeah, that's really good. I like that. I legit would like that again.
I feel like they're relatively on par. Like, I would be hard-pressed to pick one is better, other than if we were looking at specific goals.
I think I could eat the Unmeat more often than I can eat Spam. Even though I don't have any issues with salt, like, health-wise, my palate doesn't like overly salty things. And so, that to me is a really big deal, because it does not taste very salty.
And I'm just looking at... So this is 2027, this one's 2028, so this has a little bit longer shelf life, based on the cans that I grabbed at least.
Yeah.
And then these are both 2027. One is December, the Spam, and then this one is September. So they both have, like, all of them have long pull dates. But
3 years though on the Unmeat. That's impressive, actually.
It is pretty impressive.
I don't know. They're pretty good. I'd endorsement on that.
Yeah.
I like both of them.
I feel
not
like
sponsored, by the way.
not sponsored. No. I purely just saw it at the grocery store and was curious.
Yeah.
So there you have it, a blind taste test. It's not going to be fooling anyone necessarily.
No. You might be able to fool someone with the Spam if they were not someone who eats Spam.
Or having it back to back.
Yeah.
But both of them are good. All of them are tasty in their own ways.
Yeah.
Like I said, when it's not a direct comparison, it's a little bit easier to, think about.
Comparing those two, the canned chickens, comparing those two side by side, if I'm just not thinking about that as being chicken. If it was just, this is a thing and this is a thing, it's fine. If you're like, this is chicken and this is supposed to be chicken, that's where it falls apart. Yeah. But even comparing them, I was like, oh no, I would actually eat that. I was like, I might choose that over the chicken, honestly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, pretty cool.
But those are our thoughts, and I hope you enjoyed this video and flocking and squawking with us. We occasionally do taste tests. Sometimes we have little streaks of taste tests, but this, I think, is the first fully blind taste test for you. where one of us prepares, and yeah, so I hope you enjoy and flock and squawk again with us sometime.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.